as always, we'll go through the dollar. So coming to the week, been pretty bearish on USD, and we haven't really seen too much development in that, to be honest. I'm still looking for a push back into this low here, just around 98. That's still my target, my trajectory for the dollar. We had a bit of a bullish start to the week, but then price did find some bearish momentum there pretty aggressively yesterday afternoon. And we're back at square one. We're back at support again. So can the market break through support? That's the big question. I do think we will. So I am expecting to see the dollar do something like this again in the next couple of days. Again, would you look to try and short that? Not really. We're directly at support. Now's not the best time to be shorting, to be honest. As I said at the start of the week, if we are going to get some opportunities, primarily focusing on the DXY would be a break and retest sort of situation, clearing support, then finding a retest for some entries there. But in terms of my expectation for the dollar, it is more downside. I'm not looking to trade the DXY, but I do use it in terms of confluence to gauge what the DXY is doing, what USD is doing, and that can of course help define my bias going into other USD majors. So right now, that's what I'm expecting for the dollar. We might bounce again to the upside, but we are still forming lower highs here. I like the move that we had yesterday afternoon, very kind of aggressive, kind of showing that the bears are still alive and well. So the break of that support, I do think is likely at some stage, but that's kind of what we're banking on in terms of an opportunity. Excuse me. In terms of EURUSD, which pretty much looking at the exact opposite, and we've kind of had the same situation, maybe not as aggressive on the way up, but essentially price did come back to respect this zone, which is what we were looking for at the start of the week. And then we have, of course, cleared the highs there as well. So I'm basically looking at the continuation of this bullish structure here. We did have a slight break of structure there, but we anticipated the price to kind of recover that. And now it looks like we're continuing. So with that in mind, I do expect more upside. I'm expecting Euro to get back to the highs at 1.156. Again, in terms of opportunities, this was the area for the buy, retesting prior resistance turn support. That was the area for the buy, which we were discussing at the start of the week. Now that we've kind of left that area behind, it's either price does come back for a retest, potentially a big double bottom, or we go and clear resistance again and we look for some type of retest above that level, and so on and so forth, all the way back to the highs is what are we looking for. As I said yesterday, the only thing I don't like about Euro is that we are very, very corrective, which does make me feel like we're pushing up just to come back down at some point. But momentum can change, so I'm not going to judge that in too much detail, because if we just have suddenly a strong push to the upside, break the highs, well, Euro's looking healthy again. But we'll see as price progresses. And in terms of before the end of the week, for today and tomorrow, these are the two opportunities I think could potentially present themselves. So for the time being, still very bullish on Euro and still looking for a push back to the swing high. Pound USD, lovely move to the upside as well. Again, quite corrective, so do take that into consideration. Yes, the market is very bullish. Yes, we're still consistent with the higher highs and higher lows, but you can see how staggered we are on the way up. Not something you would associate with confident trending environments and a confident buyer's market. This is definitely bullish, and I do expect us to break the highs, but at some point we probably will go for a bit of a sell, as you would expect. The market's not going to trend to the upside forever. We've already been trending for a while too, so I do think a bit of a drop is going to be on the cards pretty soon for pound and euro and some other USD pairs. But for now, I still do expect to see new highs, which we haven't quite seen yet. So I do think we will still get another rally before the week does end. We did see a nice retest of this zone here, which is what we were talking about yesterday. Nice break and retest at the start of the week as well. Nice break and retest at that level. We have pushed to the upside since then. Looks like we're also having another break and retest on this area. Prior resistance broke through that yesterday, and since then we spent a few hours retesting that level. Then again this morning, nice push to the upside there as well. So again, as long as that maintains, I do think this is still a great place to buy the market back to the highs, especially if you're looking at maybe like a 15, 5-minute chart. Maybe not 5 minute, more like 15, 30-minute chart. I feel like this is a nice place for a buy because you can refine risk, still wait for a solid rejection before entering, and still get a decent risk reward between this level and the high. But yeah, in terms of trajectory, still very bullish on pound, expecting a lot more upside. Dollar CAD, pretty bearish on that one as well. Again, still falling. I did talk about price revisiting this area, but as we can see with hindsight, that did not happen. And to be honest, I wasn't too sure if it will happen. I mean, it was always an area which I wanted the price to get to because it's the only place where it would make sense in terms of me selling the market. But I could see that we were looking pretty bearish here, and the odds of price rolling over were pretty great, and that's exactly what happened here with dollar CAD. But there was an opportunity for me to trade it anyway, which is really the point. But yeah, I'm still expecting a push back into this zone. We're very, very close to it now. Of course, this is where we had a really big kind of double bottom and price flew to the upside very aggressively. I do think naturally price is just heading towards that area for a big retest. We might bounce from there, we might reverse, we might break through. We'll judge price when we get there, but dollar CAD is another pair which, again, is pretty bearish. We've been falling for a while. I do think we'll see a pretty big recovery at some point now. I still like this zone here. If price was to pull back into this area, kind of maybe fake out this high here, I think that's still a nice opportunity to look for a short. But again, will we pull back to test that zone before we do continue? Judging how things are looking, we probably will just fall there. So again, still something to look at because you don't know what price will do next. It definitely is an opportunity which would interest me if it does happen. But judging everything, judging momentum, we're probably just going to make our way back into support. Then I might start to be looking for buys for dollar CAD. If things look good, price is reacting well. I'm seeing good shift in structure, positive signs of momentum shifting. So big, strong, bullish engulfing candles, wicks. I may look to try and take some buys there, but we'll probably save that discussion for when we actually get there. Aussie dollar still overall bullish, still climbing higher, but again, very staggered market. Not really interested in trading price whilst we're in this range here, to be honest. So I'm just leaving price to do its thing. We're very, very consistent, I must say, with all these high lows. So I did mention yesterday that if price was to push back down to the low end of the range of the channel, I think that still would be a very smart place for a buy, because the likelihood is that price does bounce at this level, and we probably do see a push back into resistance. So that's probably a nice trade to take advantage of, just continuing what the market is already doing. But as I said, conditions are choppy. This is not optimal for my trading style, so I want to stay away and just wait for trending conditions to come back into the market. Hopefully that will happen soon. Whether we break to the upside or to the downside is yet to be seen. But I'm not really seeing much apart from maybe some buys at the lows, which we'll have to wait and see if price will actually get back down there again. But yeah, for the most part, not a big fan of the price action. Very, very corrective. USD is getting there. We're starting to break through some resistance now. So I'm liking the look of this one. I kind of want to see a bit more momentum because it's a very, very big level. Provided resistance very well on 3 occasions, 1, 2, and 3. And of course, we had a bit of a fake out there with this 4th attempt, and now it looks like we're breaking it again. So I do want price to clear this level with some distance, with some momentum. Then yeah, that does open up the door to break and retest opportunities and trading at that level as support. So that's really what I'm looking at for USD. Very, very consistent with all these higher lows, similar to Aussie dollar, just continuous higher lows there. But yeah, momentum is a key thing, and a strong breakout and clearing this level with some distance is basically what I'm looking for now. Before I would look for the retest. I wouldn't look for the retest now. It's a bit too shallow for me to look for a pullback. But if we can have a much bigger breakout, sure, this is definitely something I will look to trade myself. And in terms of gold, gold looking bullish. Unfortunately, didn't see the test of that zone yesterday. We had a very strong wick into, close to that level the day before. So I was kind of hoping yesterday we could push into that zone, maybe take out that wick and then fly. But looks like gold had other plans and already looking pretty bullish. I don't know, this is still pretty corrective. I wouldn't put it past gold pushing down, but yeah, I think in terms of probability, you probably would just break higher, to be honest. Another opportunity for gold would just be the breaking test of this level now, since it doesn't look like we're getting the retest here. We just missed it over there by a fraction. But if we were to clear this level well, of course, that would provide some more breaking retest opportunities. But the plan for gold is, ever since we've broken out of this bull flag pattern, this channel here, which we did at the start of the week, wasn't it? Yeah, start of the week. We've been very, very bullish for gold, and now looking for a push back to the all-time high, 3,500. So very bullish in gold, onwards and upwards, expecting more upside. Did miss that opportunity there. I mean, didn't actually materialize, so technically didn't really miss anything, but we didn't quite get the retest there. And now, yeah, possibly this could be the next best bet for gold. So keep an eye on the breaking retest of the high at 33.89. But my expectation for gold is definitely a lot more upside. And silver, likewise. Very impressive price. I didn't see that this morning, actually. I didn't actually look at silver. But silver's on one. And silver has cleared 35. I did not see that. Wow, impressive stuff from silver. So that breaking retest opportunity didn't even come into play at all. We spoke about the retest of this level here yesterday, 33.7. Did have a slight pullback there. Came up 3/4 of the way. That was more than enough for price. And now we're looking very bullish and we're breaking through the high very, very well. So I like this from silver because it means momentum's back into the market. We're breaking the high. As I've said in the higher time frames, I think this is only the beginning. I know price is clearing high, so it looks like price is overbought. But in fairness to silver, we've been consolidating for quite a while now. We haven't really been trending well. So I do think we can probably see a similar kind of distance of that range. We could probably see price break out and make a similar move to the upside. And that kind of brings us to around the 40 mark, which is a pretty big psychological level. I think that's the next big box for silver to tick off. So with the break of this level, which looks like it's underway, as long as we can stay above it, I do think we can see a lot more upside. So dropping back to the 4-hour chart, retest of this range here can definitely provide some nice opportunities for silver. So that is the opportunity. And now things look a lot clearer. Silver in here, very, very messy. Now we've got the breakout, slight pause, another breakout. Momentum is clear. We're breaking through key levels. If you can find some pullbacks, this is definitely a good market to try and follow and just trail stops and see how far you can take it, really. But yeah, silver's looking very bullish. I do expect gold to see some momentum as well. But yeah, expecting more upside there as well.